Before there was light, there was darkness. Before there was order, there was chaos. An endless war between the gods and their enemies. A war the gods could not win. Till a champion arose, wielding a weapon of otherworldly power. The war was won, the enemy banished, but the weapon was shattered, its fragments scattered across the new formed world. Now, thousands of years later, many seek the fragments of that long-lost weapon. Among them, our 5 brave heroes. The druid, troubled by dreams and his own temper. The blacksmith turned warrior in search of revenge. The raider, determined to protect her friends and her growing family. The traveller from a distant land, guardian of those down on their luck. And the girl, willing to sell her soul for a taste of adventure. Their hunt will take them to distant and dangerous lands, far beyond the borders of Isfjell. I think we should get Maury to do a recap. She's way better at explaining this than I am.
I'm just DM now.
Yeah, I'm retiring. But, yes, as the Cloud Maiden, you see these lights shining beneath you. There's a weird, almost flicker in the air as Barmdorth comes into view beneath you. It's hard to really put a finger on it. There's definitely a something sort of passed over the ship. It's like a jolt in the air for a moment. It's like going over a speed bump, but it hasn't actually affected. Like, you're still flying over Barmdorth, and you can see it's this scattering of farms and sort of other outlying settlements, but gathered around this sort of central area where you can see some kind of temple building in the centre of this clear area and this cluster of houses around it. And, well, you're above the town. I'm going to give you a chance to think about what you want to do. Because first we're just going to slip down onto the ground and each one of the people who is happens to be in the town square of Barmdorth when a large flying boat appears in the sky. Now, Revin, just for starters, give everyone here an image. Like, who is Revin? What would people see if they were to look at him?
If the ship gives off any wind as it's descending, he would probably be holding his hat on his head, but it is a 5'8" drow, about 130 to 140 pounds, not lithe, but not bulky. He is shades of lighter side of purple, except for a starburst of pink that is off-center from his left eye, that looks like a burn of some kind. His eyes are a dark pink, except for his left one, which has a starburst of crimson, and there are streaks of black in his otherwise chalk white hair that follow the same pattern of the starburst on his face. He tries to look scholarly, but has failed triumphantly, and he has a gaudy emerald cloak that has gold trimming. And of course his hat and a leather backpack that he has at his side at all times.
Yeah, so you're walking across this square for what feels like the 100th time now, and many of the things are as they have been before. You see the door of the administrator's building slam. You hear the sound of someone in the temple building not far away. And then something happens that's very different, and this large silvery coloured boat just comes soaring out of the night into the sky above the town, and it sort of shudders for a moment. You watch as it sort of flickers, but then it is solidly there above Barmdorth. It hasn't got I don't believe it has a mast anymore. I think that
It's now just got this splintered end where it did used to have a mast.
It was masterfully removed.
Yes, masterfully removed. And it looks like tales you've read of, like, northern raiding boats that come down the coasts of Caldis and down to Varnek, but this one is flying.
That's certainly new. And I immediately bring out my journal and furiously try to draw out the shape of the ship and any colors and remarks that are visible.
All right, well, what is the ship doing?
Aldous, I thought we were going to park outside of town. Did we, like, decide to bypass the sneaky, not surprising everyone with a flying boat?
You were very sure you were near the edge of town. Like,
we haven't gone over the town yet, I thought.
But it's there.
I don't. Okay. I guess I will.
I think what he's saying is, if we can see the town can see us.
and then,
So,
as you're having this discussion, another odd thing happens, and you find yourself back at the edge of the town.
What?
Flying towards the centre of Farndorf again.
That's odd. I am going to get. We're not over the town anymore, correct?
Not yet, no. You will be soon at this current pace.
I am, instead of going directly at the town, I'm gonna go, like, I guess south. I'm gonna turn the boat south, and then, according to the map, there's like a ledge.
Yeah, there's lots of rocks and hills overlooking the south end of the town.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go and try to go for that. And
Are we
maybe...
landing in the middle of the fairy circle?
No.
That's what that looks like. Okay, cool.
No, I'm looking at. Hold on, let me ping it. Like about right here.
Okay.
Yeah. You would fly it
the other side with the I don't know, suspiciously placed circular rocks.
It appears to be some form of stone circle.
Yeah.
As you fly past it, this it's a henge. It's a small henge.
Good idea, Aldous. Let's park outside of town where they can't see us.
Wait, are we coming from the left or the right? Because if we're coming from
either.
Fine,
okay,
we're fine.
The orientation of this map is solely based on which way round I had the page when I took a picture of my map.
Okay. Okay, so actually, well, there's a whole bunch of trees over here. We can maybe land there instead.
Yeah. And as you're once again having this discussion,
it does it again.
You find yourself back at the edge of town again. Now, Revin, the boat has not reappeared. Like you saw it appear in the sky, and then it was gone again. And you look down at the page of your notebook, and unfortunately, your sketch of it that you're halfway finished with is gone once more.
I curse under my breath, and just try to see if it was something that's an anomaly or if it's somewhere visibly in the sky.
Make me a perception check, please.
Yes. 13 and 6 is 19.
You see the shape of this boat. Alice, you said it was taking it down towards the trees this time.
Yes, towards the trees.
With a 19, you can just make out as this boat glides down through the dark and sort of lands down sort of in this sort of forested area at the edge of town.
Okay, I'm gonna rush over there.
All right. So with the boat on the ground, once it's landed, is there anything What are you doing? You've got the boat down under the tree line. You think it's fairly well hidden in the dark.
Adair's just going to look at everybody else. I'm just waiting for us to appear over there again.
Yeah. Something's not right.
Everybody else
About
saw
this
that too,
town?
right?
Yeah, something's not right about the town, or I don't know, maybe they've got a protection around it.
Well, a few months ago I'd be worried, but I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah, I
Not too
kind
concerned.
of just want a warm meal at this point. If it's poisoned, we'll deal with it.
Aye, they're probably poisoned food or they're ghosts or something. You know, not much out of the
That's
ordinary.
about the usual, yeah.
And you hear footsteps coming through the undergrowth. Well, actually, Revin, are you attempting to be sneaky approaching this boat, or are you?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I'll even put up a little circle of dancing lights around me as I come over.
Well, we might have to deal with that first.
It's
He'll
making
kinda
its
gesture
presence
over to-
known, so either it's not a threat or it's so much of a threat we won't be able to deal with it.
Hello?
I'm just gonna rush up and just touch the boat to make sure it's real.
He touched the butt.
It's real.
But, oh,
That costs silver.
oh, hello.
Aye? What are you doing touching our boat? Normally you asked permission for that. You know, get consent.
Yeah, we haven't really set up the shop yet. It's gonna be a tourist attraction.
Right.
There's additional
right.
charges for caressing.
Yeah.
Of course. How silly of me, and I step away. Yes, clearly, a flying boat should be a spectacle. But given what has happened in the last day, this is the least of the spectacles that I have done with. Should we continue shouting at each other, or would you like to come down?
The boat's not that big. We're not really shouting at each other.
You're welcome to come up. Oh, maybe
It just
he
looks
isn't.
it
Is
just
he
looks
welcome?
big because he's so small.
Oh, of course.
Torvald
Yeah.
looks over his shoulder in the direction that was pointed.
What are you talking about?
Is he allowed up here or should we go down there?
Well, I'm not too concerned. Plus, he mentioned the same thing I did, so must be pretty smart.
He dealt with our jokes, so I'll be
Why
fine.
don't you offer him some ale?
You
Yeah.
tossed the mug overboard.
Great idea. I've got some brewing right over here.
And I'll go over to my kit and see what I can do.
Adair
You're
will
welcome
walk-
aboard.
Adair will walk over and offer his
Yeah.
hand to help him on board, even though it's not really necessary. Just so he
I
can
take
step
it.
up
I
over the
am, I
edge.
am not the strongest person in the world.
Well, it's nice to have a hand. 'Cause it is essentially it's like a longboat, so it's got this
The Viking.
Ridge.
like high side that you kind of have to clamber over.
Yeah, it is awkward for me to climb over it. But I will dust myself off. Hello. Are you here for the anomaly?
The
Is she
the
cute?
anomaly.
Sure.
It's not a she, first of all. But if it were, I assume she wouldn't be. So there's that.
Well, when you say anomaly, do you mean like how we teleported back after we'd already been over?
Right. The blinking. Yes.
Aye, blinking.
It's been an issue here in the city for some time. My name is Revit Thal. I'm from the city of Zalbrinta. Don't know if you're aware of that, but it is lovely this time of year. If you like caves, of course. I was ordered, or rather I volunteered, to come and investigate a situation that was reported 2 weeks ago. And I say 2 weeks ago, but it could have been months at this point. I think I've been here for a day. Could be more. But there is something affecting the temporal lineations as they cross this town. So I hope.
Can you speak a little bit plainer?
I mean, it doesn't have to do with the planes. I clearly stated that it's temporal in nature, not planar. But I mean, time.
I'm only 17, and
Oh.
I haven't been to universities.
Oh, my poor child.
Can you speak a little bit?
Time go bad here. Is
Okay, I'm not that much of an idiot.
okay.
No, I am. That was good. Thank you.
Perfect.
The-
Now I
are you
have
saying time repeats
levels.
itself? Are you saying
Sometimes.
time repeats itself?
Sometimes. But yes, there is something that is alternating the time current here in this town. And I've yet to figure out what it is. So I appreciate the fact that there is a flying boat now, because if things get too devastating, I think we can all leave.
Well,
Are
Well-
we sure we want to stop here if we've got to be elsewhere?
well, I mean, it might be worth investigating.
I
What's-
would appreciate the help.
It also has a soft spot in my heart. Reminds me of a series of stories I used to hear as a child called Dungeon Trek. It's very good.
Not familiar with these stories. Must be a dwarven thing.
Well, it was a bunch of Vikings on a ship, and, you know, some of them wore red shirts, and some of them had gold and blue, and they'd go on adventures, and things would happen, magical things, in different worlds, and every dungeon was different, and each story was a progression, but you could enjoy it on its own as well.
Are there
Very
books
good.
of these stories?
What was that?
Are there books with these stories in them?
Well, I'm sure there were, but I heard them via word of mouth. Can't think of any other medium that would make it better.
They do sound
Interesting.
fantastical.
Aye, they are. And this time diawashing that you mentioned sounds like might be interesting. Maybe there's some source of power here we can use to help us on our quest.
There's a few people that I've interrogated and reinterrogated and reintroduced myself to. But I could use an extra pair of eyes and ears, yes. I would appreciate the help. I am but one facet of the academy.
I do have many powers, but I have yet to attempt to grow eyes and ears on somebody, but I'd be willing to try if you'd like.
Not on me, but please, there are 3 others.
Well, you said you needed the extra eyes and ears. I figured you assumed for yourself.
No, not for me, no.
So
But
you are
come
some
along.
kind of a specialist on, what did you call it, time currents?
Yes, I am a master of the divination. I can see things before they happen, and I try to react accordingly.
Be able to do it when it's not just in your dreams.
I mean, yes.
I would like
That's what
to
I've
punch
been
him in
doing.
the chest.
Maybe you can learn a thing or two, Adair. You don't have to fall asleep.
Are you attempting to cause him actual harm, or is this a playful punch?
No, I'm just going to kind of punch him in the chest. And did you see that coming?
No, I have to be honest. I did not see that coming.
So you're not
I
very
just-
good at what you do.
I
just
don't. He
rubbed
probably
my
can't
chest.
predict forces that are so small. You know, it has to have a real impact on something.
Can you predict the best place to keep talking about this, but also eat and drink?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Well,
That would be
speaking of
nice.
drinks,
Oh,
I'm about finished here.
And he'll see how good his ale is?
Is this ale you've made previously?
No, I was making.
Oh, go on, make me the roll. I can't remember what roll we've decided on for ale quality, but I think it was medicine.
I'll take this. Okay, I don't think that's horrible. Oh, 18.
Pretty good. This is actually very good ale.
You try it first.
Fine. Tastes good. Not that you'd trust my opinion anyway.
Adair will shakily put his hand out for a glass,
He'll hand him one.
and he'll take a drink of it. Oh my God. There is something wrong here.
What's that?
This tastes decent.
Wait, let me
What
try.
kind of place are we in?
Can you tell what I'm thinking right now, Revin?
Sure, give me a moment, and I will take some time, pull out my spell book, and actually cast as a ritual, detect thoughts.
How long does it take?
Actually, no, it's not a ritual spell. Sorry,
Oh, okay. I was curious.
it is
Hilarious if I'm
one
just
action.
staring for 10 minutes.
It's
Like,
one
come
action.
on.
Yeah. Concentrate on what you're thinking of for the next 10 minutes.
But no, I'm afraid you have to spend a spell slot for this.
Yeah, I'll
And
go
then
ahead
my
and spend a
tummy
spell.
rumbles.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was
So I'll
obviously
cast it.
thinking of bunnies. Clearly.
And whatever he is thinking of, I would just try to spruce up as poetically as possible.
Yeah, so what are your just vague surface level thoughts, Torvald? Because there's a save if he attempts to dig any deeper, but just whatever's at the top of your mind, like just...
Well, he was thinking that he wanted to be upset at Adair, but deep down he knows that his ale isn't normally good, so his joking is justified, but he's trying really hard to make the prominent thought be that he's mad and that Adair did something wrong, but really he's got these deep down insecurities about his ale and the quality, and he was actually really excited that it was decent, but got made fun of, so that kind of knocked him down a peg.
You need to be more sure of your abilities, my friend. You have a great future ahead of you as a brewmaster.
Thanks. You haven't even tried it yet.
I mean, I've gathered from your thoughts and what your heart tells me. But I'll drink it if you'd like some more.
You're not
solidity.
going to have anything fire out of your fingertips, are you?
He kind of like steps back.
No, I'm not that kind of wizard.
All right. Last time I had my mind read like that, Grisara's fingers exploded, and there were missiles flying everywhere. It's quite tragic.
I
Well,
think Chrisara at that point would grumble something from the back of the boat.
She just mutters something about potions and like...
Torvald's gonna pour a cup and pass it over to Revin.
Take it gladly, and I sip from it.
It's good. But as you raise your glass to take a sip, the world flickers around you. And you find yourself hurrying up through the undergrowth towards this ship.
Excellent.
The rest of you remember everything that's just happened, but the boat has just sort of touched down in the forest. And you're back where you were all those minutes ago. Like, as in whichever position you're standing on the ship, you're suddenly back where you were before, and you can hear the sound of Revin approaching again.
The orbs light up again.
I'll go help him on the ship.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, this is really strange.
Revin, do you remember what happened?
Yes, of course.
We all do? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Is there
so
any actions-
if we do go find a place and eat food, we can just keep doing
Eating
that?
food. Yes.
All right, let's go, please.
Torvald goes to get some of his ale, and I'm guessing finding it not there.
If it wasn't made before, no, it's not there.
I didn't get to try it. Now we really need to find an inn. I'm mad.
It was quite good.
But if you eat a meal and then we go back and we remember how we felt, will you feel full or will you feel hungry because you've already eaten?
Oh God. Let's go
Technically,
find out. For
you will
science,
have-
right? You're researching this?
Well, I've done the research, and you will feel full, but you still be hungry. So it is perplexing.
Oh,
It's infuriating, really.
That must make sexual relationships very complex.
I have not tried that.
So, well, Krasara's here, so we'll probably find out. Anybody in town wear green?
He's wearing a green robe.
Yeah, Krasara is like lurking at the back of the boat, just eyeing up his green cloak.
And he's an elf.
She just gives him like,
But yes,
Hey.
the inn is this way, the tavern, and I will try to lead them.
all right.
Really
So
wary of all the current time striations that have happened.
yeah, so Krasara agrees to stay and keep an eye on the boat, because last time you left it, it got nicked by elves. She's less than trusting. So yeah, Krasara stays on the boat, and the rest of you sort of head down into the center of the town. It's quite a loosely scattered town, but in the center there's this the administrator's building, the mine buildings, and the inn, which is just off the edge at the center. And as you head down to town, you hear the sound of commotion coming from inside the inn.
This might
Never
be,
a dull moment for us.
this might be colorful. Brace yourselves.
I don't care. It's time about you ate the food, you paid for the food. I'm having payment in advance in future. And someone else going, yeah, but if we pay in advance, then what happens if we don't get the food? Because, it all goes back before we've paid.
These are the trivialities that we've dealt with.
You can see tempers are definitely frayed at the moment.
Are you all right?
You asking me?
Aye.
And you see a rather
Seem a little upset.
angry-looking dwarf woman glares back at you. Of course I'm upset. I paid for... If I didn't I want that food again. Like, I'm still hungry. I've ate the food, but the food's still there on the shelf. I'm not paying for it until I had it. And I have stayed having eaten it. Like, this ain't gonna work.
You're full right now.
No, not eaten yet.
Is your money in your pocket?
Yeah,
Then
But-
you haven't paid.
but she's saying I can't have the food again until I've paid her. But I'm saying I'm not paying until I've had the food and stayed full.
Well, it seems that if she never lost any food, then you probably don't owe her any money.
Exactly.
You're a shrewd businessman, my friend.
Wait, I'm really not sure if... Are you agreeing with me or not?
That's the dwarf.
Yeah, that's a dwarf still.
Aye. I mean,
Sorry. It's I've
Inkeep
not...
doesn't
I've
tell
not
us
slept.
any product. So if they sell it again, they've made twice as much.
Look, if you want the food, you pay for the food up front. That's how it's going to work now around here.
I will take out a platinum piece and lay it in her hand and say, all debts settled with this?
You realize how much a platinum is, right?
Have it back in a few minutes when we flip again. Don't worry about it.
He sleeps in trees. I don't think he knows what the economy is.
Sure,
So
that's acceptable. Will you be wanting food as well?
Not really sure how this works.
I'll try to eat something, yeah. What do you have?
Soup. And yes, all we've got soup, and all we will have is soup.
Does it have any meat in it, at least? Or is it just like a broth?
It's got parsnips and turnips and potato. It's a very nice soup, and it's the only thing on the menu, and it's the only thing that's going to be on the menu. Because every time I try and make something else, I have to keep making that for all eternity. So
how long has this soup existed then? Is this like week-old soup?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I'm not hungry. Thank you.
How about everybody just leave town? If it's the town that's the issue.
You don't think we've tried?
They probably get snapped right back when they try to leave.
We can't leave. No one can leave. We're here forever now.
Oh,
is there a perimeter then?
You go about any more than a couple of miles out from the main square, and you
brought right back.
Brought right back. Everyone brought right back. Every time someone tries to leave, everyone's brought right back.
Well,
to the town square?
To wherever they were when the person's... You explain. You're better at this.
Well, I'm just going to say that I tried to place markers and they keep coming back into my backpack. So, but I can show you more or less where the circle of delineations ends.
Okay, so
is there a point
we're
where
stuck
they
here?
All meet? Yeah, it sounds like we're stuck here.
Unfortunately,
that's why our transport kept going back to the original spot.
More
once
than
something
likely.
comes in, cannot go out.
Welcome to hell, and slowly more and more people will keep arriving, and this is just going to get worse.
I mean, we'll figure something out. We like save the world or whatever.
Oh, that
Right?
could have been something good to lead with.
No, I mean, well, I don't want to. I'm only like part. I haven't been with these people in a long time, so I'm like part-time world saver.
Now there's hope. We have heroes.
No, well,
I appreciate you're
Didn't mean
the
to get
first
your
one who
hope up.
actually believes us that we're trying to save the world. Everyone tells us we're lying, or
You came in on a flying ship. Like, why would people not believe that?
keep your voice down. We'd like to not spread the flying ship thing around if we can help it.
I mean, it's an artifact. Why wouldn't you want someone to know?
Because when people know about powerful things you got, they want to take them for their own.
But you're heroes.
Aye, but we're not always near our boat. We just rescued it from I don't even know what, a group of elves trying to steal our things. And, well, we weren't near it. We can't protect what we're not near.
The people in the other people in the inn, who are a mixture of like dwarves and elves, are kind of looking over towards you now at this point. And not all of them are in earshot, but definitely the innkeep woman. You sort of now, Torvald, do take in her very pointed ears. There are a lot of elves around here. It's freaking up as you're talking about like boats being stolen by elves.
What kind of elves exact? And my voice begins to lower.
Bad
what kind
ones.
of elves exactly were the ones that stole your boat?
You know, the tyrannical ones that are trying to take over the world. Those ones.
Sure. So like the Imperial elves, for instance.
Aye.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. The town administrator happens to be an Imperial elf woman, so this will be an interesting conversation.
Well, where do we meet this person?
Are you sure you don't want to eat? The soup is good. The potatoes are lovely. And I kind of smile at the tavern keeper.
I would hope it's paid for.
Oh, it is.
Well, I guess it couldn't hurt.
Torvald will find a seat somewhere.
As you, well, sadly the clock has run out. I'm running a little clock behind the scenes here. Just to mess with you all. You go, you find your seat, you settle down, and you're back walking into the town again. So you're with Revin and you're sort of making your way towards the inn as you were the first time round.
Well, we'll skip the inn this time and we'll head directly to whoever we need to talk to fix this thing and out of here.
I can introduce you to...
Adair, you have your platinum piece back.
I'm going to take it out and show it to Torvald and kind of flip it in the air, put it back in my pocket.
Yes. The
Is
joys
that the only
of...
one you got left then?
No.
You could very well be showing me a different one. Got no idea.
Truly you are astute, my small friend.
Not really. I just know Adair likes to trick me.
Well, I'll take them this time to the administration office. We're about to meet Leah Rothenol for the first time. She's a member of the House of the Golden Dragon, so I hope that's not the elves that were responsible for your stealing.
But she's got other things on her mind. Yeah, so as you approach, the door of the administrator's office slams open and you see Leah sort of hurrying out quickly. She's this tall elf with like sort of golden brown hair, like it's sort of dark brown, but sort of glints almost with like gold highlights in it. And she's dressed in what looks to be a dressing gown thrown over like night clothes. And you're very glad that you left Grisara behind, because elven administrators in dressing gowns it's her thing. She's hurrying out. She sort of shoves past Rep and goes, "I haven't got time for this. Just carry on doing whatever it is you're doing. I need..."
Madam Administrator, we have a new situation that has occurred.
What now?
And I just kind of show her. These are new faces.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And the heroes to boot.
Oh, heroes. Well, welcome, heroes. This is going to have to be walk and talk. I'm trying to get up to the stone circle. I haven't got time to stop. I think maybe that is the answer. I've tried everything else I can think of, but I've been trying to get there for the last I don't know how many repetitions. But walk and talk.
Breathe, madam.
All right.
Breathing takes time. We have no time.
And follow.
Well, what can we do to help you?
Are you time magicians?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Do you know what might cause this kind of weird time shit?
I've got no clue.
Has anyone?
I can fight things though.
The
If you need me
gods
to kill
angry?
something.
That would have to be a matter of the priest, she says, waving back towards the temple that you've just passed. I don't know. I've not spoken to the priest for hours, days, minutes? I don't know. he's in there somewhere. He went off to sort something ages ago. But I don't know, maybe the gods are angry? Maybe... I don't know. Someone's cursed us. Someone's pissed off a really angry wizard.
I'll go check out the temple. And I'm going to turn right back around and head back towards the temple.
All right, Aldous is heading for the temple. Is anyone going with her?
We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, so Aldous is peeled off for the temple. The rest of you carrying on with the walk and talk with the administrator.
As best I can to keep up.
I mean, the only place that I haven't been to
Imagine
is
I'm
the
struggling.
mines. So
Maybe
How
it's down the
often-
mines.
How often does this happen, and how far back does it jump? I mean, you've been tracking this for you don't know how long. I'm sure you've written this down somewhere, Revin.
yes, and every time that I have written it down, it disappears.
But you remember, because if you've
I
done it
do.
enough, and
I do. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's sporadic, at best.
so it's probably not something that's specifically controlled, like magic.
Correct. It's not someone. I don't think there's someone doing it. I think it's something that's happened.
What if something's triggering it? Like someone in the town, like, I don't know, says a bad word and time resets. Like a punishment?
A terrible theory.
But thank you.
I don't know. That's worth investigating. Something to get on with. I sent out to the Empire. I just want to send help, and they sent Revin here. I think someone sent Revin here, but
How did you
I'm-
send for help?
attached a message to a rock and threw it out, on the hope that one of the farmers just on the other side would find it. Took them a while.
But you can't leave.
No,
So the
people
rock
can't.
didn't- So the rock.
Things can.
Oh. How about animals?
Doesn't seem so. We tried sending a goat across, and it came right back.
And to be fair, I haven't tried to teleport out, so that might be powerful enough to break the curse, if it is a curse. What can you tell us about this henge?
Oh, some old druid bullshit. I don't know. It's moon or stars or whatever it is they get up to. It was here before the town, but I don't know. That's my only working theory. Is this is some kind of druid nonsense. You know what they're like,
We
messing
have an
around with.
expert on that.
They're awful.
You do. You've got a druid expert.
Yeah.
She kind of looks over the four of you.
And Adair is just giving her a look that if looks could kill, it would be an eldritch blast from Aldous.
But Aldous didn't see it.
Exactly. I wouldn't have done
Just-
that if she could.
Well, I think the faster we get to this henge, the faster we can either rule it out or investigate it further.
Yes, keep walking. And she sort of is hurrying up, sort of essentially round sort of the south of the town and circling round up to try and get up these rocks above the town. But we'll get back to you guys in a moment, because Aldous, sorry, I'll get you out. You've got seaweed in your mouth. You sort of peeled off to go into the temple, and you can see it's this octagonal building with columns at each corner, and the doors are closed but not locked. You can see this crack of light shining through from the inside, and the sound of sort of someone clattering and moving around on the inside.
I will knock on the door that's cracked open and say, "Hello, may I enter?"
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
Me?
Come in, me?
I open the door. What sort of temple is it?
Looking in, you can see, make a religion check. Because, I don't come across this much, or at all yet. Yeah, as you peer in, looking back at you is this,
We had a two.
this male half elf, kind of with slightly sort of unwashed, scraggly looking appearance. Who's currently kind of clutching a bandage to one hand. You can see there's blood soaking through it. On the other side, you can see this temple. You can see these 8 statues arranged around in a circle, around some sort of like device in the center that reminds you almost mostly of the astral drive. These interlocked circles of metal. That device is also, you can see it's got some blood smeared on it at the moment. But you're not really sure what this is a temple to. It's very clearly not the Isfjellian gods.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember if you were on the island of the gods back in the Necromancy City or not.
No.
No, you definitely heard the elven gods. You know that they have a pantheon of gods that is not the same as the Isfjellian ones. You reckon this is probably that pantheon.
Okay.
Yeah? Sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of something here.
Are you in the middle of a ritual, or are you trying to help figure out what's been going on?
Trying to figure, working on shit, fixing stuff.
Would you like some help?
You see sort of the thoughts flick across his face and he goes, oh, why not? Come in, quick.
I
Close the door behind you.
I shut the door behind me.
There we go, that's healed up. Alright, I'm just trying to, reset this.
Reset this. Reset what?
This. He points to the device in the center.
Okay. May I look at it?
Yeah, sure. I just need to know what time it is now. But it's quite hard.
Okay. I go and I look at it before touching it, and I would like to. I don't know if you've looked at my character sheet recently, but I have Eyes of the Runekeeper, where I can read all writing.
Yes, so you can read the writing on this, which is it's not Elvish, so I don't think it tells you what language it is, but you can read it. And you can see that it's indicating times and positions and directions. And what you're looking at is very roughly sort of like that. And you can see it's got marked star positions and I'm trying to remember the exact word and how you say it correctly. I think the word for what this is, you would call it an armillary sphere. So it's essentially used for tracking star things. But to glean any more, I'm going to need an investigation check, because you can read that much from the indication in the writing that you can see what it's saying here.
That's a natural 20.
This is a device for mapping and tracking the positions of the stars, and also essentially for altering and changing the positions of the stars, or more the position of yourself and the whole world in relation to the stars. This is something you really should be careful about touching. You're examining it over, because if you were to mess this up, who knows what you could do to time. But correctly used, you reckon you could use it to travel in it? Tam, I'm not stealing ideas again. I'm far too behind on Black Death to steal ideas from you.
Is it bigger?
We've discussed this before. I'm stealing ideas from Star Trek, not you.
This isn't the anti-Cathera device, then. Okay, just making sure.
No. It might be. Who knows? I'm so behind on Black Death.
Okay. On the device anywhere, and I am being careful not to move any of the pieces. Does it have any instructions on how to actually use it?
No.
I am going to turn to the person. My name is Aldous. Where did you find this?
Here. My name's Lawrence. It was in the temple. It's our relic. It's an old relic of the town. And then you see, it just goes like his shoulders, and he goes, "I was just cleaning it. I was just trying to do some dusting."
I think I found what's causing the problem.
You think? I don't know.
He goes, "Look, okay, don't tell anyone else. If we can get this reset, we can solve this problem, and no one needs to know it was me. Okay? We don't need to tell anyone else."
Do you have any information on it?
Based on
In
the
a book
text,
or something?
all I think we need to do is get the positions on here aligned to what the positions of the stars should be. Then that should bring us right back to where we started, and everything should be fine as long as we don't touch it again. But every time I try and adjust it to reset it, everything goes out of whack again, and then I've got to remake time to try and I'm stuck in a loop trying to fix the loop.
Well, have you tried not touching it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, people coming and going, people doing stuff. This whole thing's unstable. I tried just sitting on my hands and not doing anything for a while, and that didn't solve anything. I'm at the point of considering just taking a hammer to this thing, but...
Oh, I wouldn't do that. That could do some very disastrous stuff, probably.
What, worse than already? How could it get any worse?
No, do you want to continually relive an explosion right on top of you? That might happen. That will be painful.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Let's not touch it for a little bit. Do you have any manuscripts or anything that give us information on this?
Yeah, come. I'll show you. He sort of leads you over and begins laying out like the temple scrolls. And we'll be back with you in a moment, because meanwhile the others are hurrying up towards this ominous stone circle that overlooks the town. And Leah does not seem to have picked up on Adair's death gaze. She's still continuously bad-mouthing druids as you approach, going, all this nonsense with stones, it's just awfully backwards. I don't know why we put up with them around here anyway. We just let them stick to the forest where they belong and, leave everything else for us. But no. Doing ominous portents and having a go at people for farming, and tell you. Bloody druids.
Meanwhile, Torvald's just chuckling.
Anyway, which one of you is the druid expert? You never said.
Is there a stick or something about yay long or something I can pick up somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to pick that up, and using Druidcraft, I'm going to fashion it into a nicely designed, almost like a wand with a flat end on it, and hollow out the center of it so that it's like a whistle.
Okay. Anyway, here's the circle. I've forgotten what I intended to do. I don't think I've not slept. I haven't dared sleep. I don't know what happens if you go to sleep. Actually, I can't sleep. I'm an elf. Forget I just said that. I always forget. That's the one weird bit of elf lore I always forget.
You mean like the only bit that's actually in like the player's?
Yes! I played an elf! I haven't, had a chance to clear my mind and go into the trance. Like, I'm worried if I do that, I'll get stuck there forever.
That's a fair fear. I'm gonna sit outside the circle and just open up my spellbook and ritually cast Detect Magic. That'll be 10 minutes at least.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'm going to take my newly fashioned device and walk around to each one of the stones, whistling lightly as I go around, going to each stone as I walk around.
Okay. Does this have some significance, or is this an experimental procedure?
Oh, it's something I heard about a long time ago from a druid. It's my sonic screwdriver.
Bravo.
So, as Adair is wandering around the stones, and
you could say screwing around.
As Adair is screwing around, as Revin is ritually casting his spell, Leah is sort of hurrying from stone to stone, like just looking over the carving, scratched into them, and muttering to herself. Torvald and Uno, what are you doing?
Torvald's gonna pretend to look around like he knows what he's doing.
Uno will join him in that endeavor.
Hey, what do you think of this one? What does it remind you of when you look at it? First word that comes to your head.
Rock. Looks like a rock, right? We're looking at rocks.
Aye, that's deep.
Yeah, I like to take things at face value. Is that the good thing to do or the bad thing to do? I forget which one you're supposed to do. Face value, right?
Aye, that's probably best. You can usually tell by looking at someone.
Yeah.
But
Try looking
Good
at it.
words, Torvald.
Try looking at it, but don't blink.
It still looks like a rock.
It doesn't look like an angel to you.
Well, it depends on which type of angel you're talking about.
Looks like one
two...
that's crying or weeping or something.
I suppose. It sounds like you might have some undealt with trauma that you're perceiving in these rocks, Torvald. Do you want to talk about it?
What do you mean?
Well, don't they do that? Have you ever talked to like a magical person and they're like, you see this because you miss your mom. You've never done that?
Why are you talking about my mother?
I'm just gonna walk away.
As I'm wandering around, screwing around, do I notice any symbology or anything on any of the stones that would have meaning?
yes, I was going to say. I was just enjoying and I was waiting for the next Doctor Who fan.
Oh, it's
Doctor
coming.
Who reference.
Just wait. I know what's next. Just wait.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say, make me either an investigation or arcana check, or just a wisdom check, depending on what sort of approach you're taking here. Whether you're...
I think I'll go straight wisdom if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
That is 16.
So the symbols carved onto each of these stones, and in isolation, they don't have that much significance. These are different from symbols you've seen before carved on stones in the forest. Like whatever they were practicing here was possibly a slightly different circle of druid craft than the one that Herian taught you, or the one that they were practicing at Tiath Nara. This looks slightly different, but you can feel that there is still power in this place, and still significance to these stones. Like, they're not just placed randomly. As you look at these designs, then up at the oddly fixed sky above you, like, because the stars are like the clouds you can see are sort of frozen in place almost, occasionally sort of moving and flickering, but sort of out of joint with the world beneath. And the symbols carved into the stone seem to mirror those constellations up above. And whatever the druids were doing here, they were placing less importance in the moon, and more in the stars themselves. But what it has to do with weird time nonsense, you're not entirely sure.
I will share with everyone around that this is definitely druidic. It's of a different teaching from what I'm used to. While we have time, I'd like to study it. And I am going to conjure an animal. And I'm going to conjure a mastiff.
Okay, so Leah is now looking at you, blinks a couple of times, and goes, maidens above you, you're a druid, aren't you?
And I'm just big smile.
I see. And
Don't worry, he may be a druid, but he's got lots of heart. Some people even say he might have two.
And I'm going to reach down and go, K9, memorize, friends.
oh.
It was worth a spell slot.
It barks an affirmative. And Revin, you've finished casting your detect magic at this point. As you sort of come up from your ritual, you can see sort of, well, is your detect magic more visual or auditory? How does it usually work for you?
For him, it would probably be visual. It would be because of his time growing up on the spider farm. He would attribute everything to kind of like threaded. So the magic for him is threaded.
Okay, so you can sort of see this nexus of threads of magic leading from sort of Adair to this creature of magic that he's just summoned up, this mastiff. Other than that, you're getting probably magic items mostly on Torvald and Uno and Adair as well. I think I probably actually should check up on what everyone's got, but I think there's hats and bags and
I just have my 7 attunement slots filled, that's all.
But none of the stones are giving off magic.
The stones are not in themselves magical.
I'll share that. I don't think this is the source if there's no magic coming off of these stones.
Makes sense to me. I'd imagine what's doing this would put off a lot of magic. Have you tried that the trick anywhere else?
Not as of yet. I've been trying to narrow down, trying to reintroduce myself to people so that I don't come off as a crazy person. So I haven't had the chance to check places. Like I said, my next point of action was going to be the mines if nothing came of the stones.
It's usually the mines.
Yeah.
And it's at this point that, as you've reached the conclusion of these mines, and as Aldous, you're beginning to look through these stacks of slightly scraggly-looking scrolls that Lawrence has unrolled, and it's like shuffling towards you, that time rewinds itself once more. And you find yourself back hurrying out of the... Actually, no, you find yourself just hurrying up to the administrator's building as Leah Rothenell throws open the door.
And at that point, I am going to turn right around and head to the temple.
Where are you going on this?
The gods call me.
Are you okay?
No, I do not like this rewinding thing.
Well, did you find something over there, or was it a dead end like ours?
I was just about to start looking through the scrolls.
Scrolls, you say?
Religious scrolls.
I mean, scrolls are scrolls. There might be magic in them. I'll start to follow her.
There's magic in them there scrolls.
Did K9 stay with us?
Yes.
Cool.
And Revin, your detect magic is still up.
Okay. What do I see? Nothing from the administrative building.
Nothing. You can't. It doesn't work through walls. I don't believe.
No.
It's the greatest defense against people. Just stick a nice thick stone wall in their way, and Leah is already hurrying off towards the mine entrance, going, right, well, if it's the mines, we'd better get a move on. Better get a move on.
Well, unless anyone else has any other ideas. Guess we'll head that way. Have fun with your scrolls, I guess.
So Revin, are you following Aldous?
Yes.
And Uno and Torvald and Adair, are you following Leah, or are you...
Guess so. Since Aldous didn't tell us she found anything, we would just go to the next.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna yell back. I don't mean for this to sound racist at all, but I trust the mines to you, Master Dwarf.
What's that supposed to mean?
I gotta mute myself now.
I mean, I prefaced it with, I don't mean to sound racist.
Well, usually when you say that, you follow it up with something racist.
No,
doesn't make it any better.
Clears me of all racist connotations, clearly.
Well, you could have said Torvald. Do you have any experience in the mine instead of just assuming I do because I'm a dwarf?
Okay, all right. Well, let's pretend like we've rewound time here. Torvald, do you have any experience in the mines?
Yes.
All right, then. I'll leave that to you then.
While they're dealing with that, I'm probably already inside the temple.
I think my favorite part of the mines is they don't look like much from the outside, but they're definitely bigger on the inside.
Right. I immediately turn around and keep walking toward the temple.
K9, stay with Aldous.
So, Aldous, as you approach the temple door, you hear Lawrence from the inside going, Aldous, is that you?
Yes.
Right, come back in. You saw that wasn't us that time, right?
Yeah. Put it, hide it somewhere. Hide it somewhere.
Hide it. He takes out
I'm being followed.
like a velvet cloth and just throws it over it. I'm not moving it.
I truly hope
I don't
there is
know
like
how I was
the.
muted.
I hope there is like the silhouette of the elven version of Elvis on this velvet as she throws this tapestry over there.
It's just
Get the scrolls! Get the scrolls!
I hope Elvis is a dwarf in this world.
memo for future. He's sort of bundling up the scrolls as Revin, you sort of approach the temple door. What are we doing with the scrolls?
Looking at them. We didn't
Okay.
get a chance to look through them.
Here, take that one. That one's. Oh no, that one's just another star chart.
But we need the star
before I
charts.
Okay. Oh yeah. Look, all we have. I gathered all the star charts, everything we have on the sphere, and the records of where it was. Oh shit! Someone at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
I'm an arcanist from the academy. I'm following the heroes. Peek my head in.
Hi.
8 maidens preserve you.
May the maidens preserve you too.
He wants to help look through the scrolls.
Good.
I'm an arcanist
Great.
of some note. Perhaps I can
Great. Great to meet you. Lawrence Tilfatana, keeper of this temple here.
Revithal Intimate.
Alright, so we're looking at star charts, trying to work out what the stars should be.
No, excellent. I come over and I sit down with him.
And you can tell he looks very nervous to have you here. And I'd like you to, well, if you wish, make me an insight check here.
Oh.
You don't have to, but you may if you wish.
Good skills. 16 and 6 is 22.
Oh yeah, he's definitely uncomfortable at your presence, and at the moment you sit down, his eyes flick over towards this velvet cloth that's just draped in the center of the temple over something.
I'll make a note of that, and I'm gonna try to appease him and just be like, "Look, I assure you, you may have heard about the insurrections about happened a few years ago. I can assure you, I am not part of that group. So do not let the skin fool you."
I don't pay much attention to politics, if I'm honest.
Oh, good, good.
I am not a member of any of the houses.
Excellent. Neither am I. So we should be friendly as all hell.
Yes, I am I'm loyal to the gods and loyal to the Empire.
Which scrolls did you leave off on then? So I know which ones to cross off.
I've read through those. Those aren't relevant. I'm not sure what's in that box over there.
There's nothing behind the curtain there. That you might have missed.
No, nothing behind the curtain.
Okay. All right.
Aldous is picking up the scroll that he had given to her that was about the orb.
Yeah.
And through that.
Okay. So as you begin to go through, it recounts the tale of the finding of this device that was found many years ago underground. As they were sinking the first mines in Baumdorf, they dug this out and brought it back to the temple as a relic, and as the temple was built around it to celebrate the founding of Baumdorf and this ancient artifact that then they built the town around. And for years it was just, people took care of it and don't seem to have ever attempted to do anything much with it other than just kind of occasionally dust it lightly and light some candles in front of it. But As you're thinking over that, I think we'll nip back down to expedition is definitely down the mines. As the three of you follow sort of Leah as she sort of pushes through the gates into the mine yard and calls out, Helgret! I don't care where you are, this is important, clock's ticking. I need to get down those mines. Helgret! Helgret! Bloody miners. That's what we do.
What do you got against miners?
Spending that much time underground is unhealthy.
Well, I'd like to disagree with you, but technically, you're right.
Yes. It's not because they're dwarves. I have the same problem with human miners, and definitely elven miners. Any elf that spends too much time underground, that's... They come up strange.
You're lucky he's not here, you know that, right?
I know. Look.
It's not nice to say things behind people's back you wouldn't say to their face.
Well, I would say to his face, spiders are weird, living underground is weird, and that's before you start mentioning the demon worshipping.
We've been in a city. Yeah, we've been in a city full of dead people before. We've seen our fair share of weird, and I think it could be worse.
Well, yes, I've heard of the things that go on outside of the Empire, you know. Present company accepted, barbarians get up to some very strange stuff.
Aye, we know that firsthand. Where is she anyway?
I don't know. Look, we don't need her. You said you know your way around mines, you know how...
Not all of them.
Well, I mean, do we even know what we're looking for?
Well, if you look on your left, you'll see. And he goes to like full tour guide mode. It's like just explaining the types of rocks. And you see the horizontal strikes mean that they're going this way. And you see how they've changed direction? That indicates that they're going to go left.
And then you're back at the tavern again. Just heading towards the tavern. Like you were the first time round before you went to Leah Rothanol's house.
Question. Do our eyes adjust instantly, or is it like we were just brought into bright light?
It's like you've...
From the dark.
Well,
I thought it was nighttime when
It's still nighttime, so you're outside. Yeah, it's been nighttime this whole time. As you're sort of hurrying towards the inn or the administrator's house. You're not sure which. There's the five of you.
This is clunky.
And you're no longer with Rothanel.
Any luck with the scrolls in there?
No. I was about to cast one of my spells to see if I could find any hidden meaning. But I feel like there's something that's being hidden from me in the temple.
That was a big
Did
leap.
you see anything that he didn't?
Yes,
Would you like to tell us about it?
it's what's causing it. Let's go.
Why didn't you tell us that in the first place?
Because the other person's scared. Let's go. And I go right into the temple.
Is this how you normally do your heroing? By hiding things from each other?
Sometimes.
It happens from time to time. Sometimes people get misguided ideas of loyalty to random strangers they meet over their traveling companions.
I'm
this.
Then you can stay outside. And I go into the temple.
Aldous. Okay.
Nobody from the town's with me this time, but almost everybody I'm with is here. I can't help it.
I think he's with the Empire. Like, if they find out what I've done, like...
It was an accident.
I'm not sure they'll accept that argument.
Are you afraid they'll strike back? Oh, sorry, I'm not in the room.
You guys
can't-
are behind me. The door's open. I'm starting to walk in.
Okay, I didn't know if you shut the door behind you, so I wouldn't.
No, not yet.
I'll throw both of the doors open.
Oh, there's a lot of you. Well, it seems, Hi.
More.
Oh, you're
eyes and
tall.
hands.
Why, thank you.
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to her.
Oh, that's a lovely piece of architecture.
Oh shit, the cloth! And the cloth is back off the thing again.
Yeah.
Don't touch it, because in his cleaning of it, he disorganized it, and that's what's causing all of this.
Well,
I see you're not bleeding this time.
No, I hadn't. Look, I thought blood might help with, like, resetting it. It was a bad idea. I've had a lot of bad ideas.
Well, he could probably, and she points at Revin, he can probably help us figure out the star chart we actually need to set this.
it's almost like I was trained for this.
Aye, that's a bit convenient.
I'm just going to cast the spell slot and use comprehend languages.
All right, so now you two can read these scrolls that Aldous was looking over, and you see these. Basically, it's a record. You've got a record of like the skies above Barmdorf. You know, someone's updated it every few years. Someone's made notes on passing meteors. But you've also got a bunch of town records, births, deaths, marriages, mixture of religious scrolls, and, like
there,
scripture, and the accounts of finding this artifact that Aldous was reading before.
Are there any accounts, since we know that it's using star charts, are there any accounts of this happening before?
There is one mention of what was called an incident about 100 years ago, which is just noted as a slight incident whilst cleaning. With the aid of the circle, all appears resolved. Few villagers remember what happened. Advised no polishing.
I'm gonna tap the scroll and just like underline with my finger what it says. Just be like, could you read this out loud for the rest of us? Just because I find this really interesting. This part in particular is really, really interesting.
Uh-oh,
Who are you
did she
asking
freeze?
to read?
Talking to Lawrence. No, I'm talking to Lawrence.
I think
Okay, she
I
froze.
think we lost Tiss for a moment. Hold on.
Do we have to go on break for it to fix?
I don't know what it is. I think her internet wigged out. It's on her side.
It's about time for break
It's
anyway.
a
We should-
good.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
It's both a
Tiss, I
good
think
point
we're
to
going to
stop
go
and
on
a good
break.
face to linger on.
Oh man.
Since the DM's not here, we'll be back in 10 minutes. You're back.
No, I'm just staying very, very still. For the sake of continuity.
Everybody just pick a pose.
I can't do it. But yeah, sorry about that. My computer had some kind of weird time glitch, and it screwed it
We're
up.
playing with the time too much.
It's right on brand for the episode.
But yeah, so last we left off, we were inside the temple again. Also the first time for some of you, and you were Lawrence, he just handed this scroll to Lawrence and he looks it over and goes, incident whilst cleaning, resolved with the help of the circle.
Mhm.
The locals don't remember, advised no polishing.
Oh. And the truth shall set you free.
I suggest maybe a glass box so it doesn't get dusty.
You are a genius.
Nice little glass dome, perhaps.
Yeah.
Encapsulated. So you can show it off, but just have no one touch it ever again.
That's actually a really good idea.
Alright, so.
Yeah.
These are incredibly well kept records, by the way. So it shouldn't be too hard to correct your mistake.
It says the circle will help. What circle?
There's lots of circles. I mean, are we talking druid circles, cult circles, literal circles? Fenish circles? Because I heard they've got a whole lot of circles going on over there.
Is there an arcane circle?
I mean,
know about.
It's a stone circle, I guess. It's roughly a circle, but
Is the room circular?
this is octagonal. I mean, I guess it's like a circle with corners.
Why are you guys just stepping away from the druid circle at the top of the hill? I mean, how far does this classism go?
There's a druid circle at the top. I didn't see it.
Yeah, but this guy did, and he's already shown himself to have, like prejudices against dwarves. Now he's got something against druids too.
I do not have prejudices against dwarves. Torvald and I think, are good friends, and I told him that with all due respect, I appreciated his input as far as the mine was concerned. And now I'm going to burn a spell slot and cast Detect Magic to see if there's like a circle of writing.
How long does how long does the tech magic last for? Is it just?
It's only 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, the first thing you have when you get Detect Magic is you get the magic items Aldous is carrying on top of the ones you'd already picked up, which I think is mainly a bag of holding, which luckily shields other magic items she might be carrying. But half of that is hidden by this whole web of fine lines of light that sort of lead into this device in the center of the room that is just aglow with magic. Like, this thing is like sun bright in terms of Detect Magic. And
nothing else in the room, though.
Nothing else in the room, really. Because most of this is of religious significance, but not actually actively magical.
Okay. All right. Let's try to assemble the star charts as best as possible. And once we've figured it out, I think I'm going to take comprehensive notes of what it looks like, just in case, and seal those away as well. I'm just going to pour over the scrolls.
Okay, so as you're pouring over the scrolls, I'd like you to make me, I think either Arcana or Nature here.
No, it's definitely going to be Arcana.
And as you're sort of going through, and what are you looking for here?
I want to see if there is a starting point to them, and then try to create a natural progression of where the stars would kind of circle around.
Okay, so you're sort of set to work on some calculations here.
Yeah,
give that
11 plus 8 is 19.
Okay, so it's going to take you some time to work out. And as you're doing that, what are the rest of you doing?
Torvald is just kind of looking around. It's kind of out of his element, so he's just kind of perusing, kind of shocked that Adair defended his being a dwarf. little support from Adair he wasn't expecting. But other than that, yeah, he's not doing a whole lot.
Aldous is also looking over the star charts, I guess, specifically focusing on the ones that are newest or have the newest notes, and to see if they're a help. But and she'll stop at a point and say, "Why don't we do this outside at the circle that Adair mentioned, so that we can actually start working on this and fixing it?" And then she's also going to cast prestidigitation to clean the device because there was blood all over it.
And
is
I mean, it's fairly clean already. It's been polished recently. But yeah, it's now clean of any sort of remaining. There was perhaps some blood on it. It seems quite confused about whether it should have blood on it or not. This thing, see, it almost like flickered almost between clean and dirty at one point, as though it was in itself out of joint with everything that was going on around it. But yeah, give me an intelligence. I'm gonna say Arcana. I think we could justify this as either Arcana, history, religion, or nature. Probably not religion so much, but whichever one you would like to go with here for trying to look through star charts, because there's all sorts of different ways you could go about this. Whether you're interpreting the religious text, whether you're, I guess it's history, it's in the past.
I will use the Arcana, I think, because I mean it's an arcane device.
Yes. Let's see what we...
9 plus 5, that's 14.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as you set to work, yeah, you'd mentioned perhaps taking it up to the circle, but Adair, what are you doing?
I would like to look at it based on, since I have seen and looked at the markings on the stones, and see if anything based on the star charts I had been looking at weeks before. Well, days before. It's been weeks to us, but days in the game. It's hard to keep that straight. And could I pull an insight on this? Or nature? Which would be...
I'm going to say you can go with either here. Because
I'd love to do insight, because I got a much better bonus.
I can say you can make this a wisdom check. So
Okay.
this could be... make this straight wisdom.
Okay.
So,
17. I rolled a lucky 13.
Alright, so you're sort of thinking thinking the star charts you've seen, the symbols you saw carved up at the stone circle, and sort of the nights, like the sky that you saw when you came into town, and you reckon that the symbols on the stones would give you a very good idea of what the stars should be at any given moment. And between the star charts that Thel and Aldous have been looking at, Revin and Aldous have been looking at, and the circle itself, you could probably, using those two things together, sort of work out what it should be now. But more so than that, you can almost sort of this whispering sense at the back of your mind that you know how to solve this without any of these charts and things. With the guidance of the circle and with the stars themselves, you reckon you could almost instinctively feel your way to what this should be, to how the stars should be now, and feel your way back to what is. If that makes sense.
I don't know how to express this to you, but I'd like to try and set it. It's just making sense to me. I can't explain it to you, but can you trust me to try it?
I'll pull out my wand and step back and just be like, have at it.
He's going to look at everybody else. He is literally waiting for an answer.
Yes, please. Do you need me to read these parts for you? Or do you think you've got it?
I think I've got it, but I'm, any help is appreciated, but I think I've got it, but I want to... Everybody's at risk here. I want to make sure that it's okay.
Yeah, the help
It's not like
of
I'm
Revin...
some lord of time or something. The stars make sense.
Aldous and Revid's help will definitely be of assistance here with their sort of...
Okay.
The knowledge that the two of them have been going here. So that this will give you advantage on this based on if you take advice from those two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to read off all of the inscriptions that are on the device itself to him so that he understands what it is.
I'll read out the star chart as it was when it was first created.
All right, so as everyone else, Lawrence sort of steps back and goes, look, if you can fix this without getting me, arrested for, I don't know, the time police or whoever looks after this sort of thing, then just do what you need to do.
Just remember the same matter can occupy the same space, and we'll be fine.
What?
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure.
Interesting. Uno, Torvald?
Well, I'm fine with it.
That was really good ale, by the way. I hope you can do that again. I'd love to repeat that time sequence, but I'm not going to play with the machine.
Are you okay? You're doing a lot of complimenting me.
I feel off.
All right. Do you need my help for anything?
We might all need ale, depending on how this. I feel like everything is hinging on some random element of chance.
Maybe a wisdom roll with advantage here, Adair, and good luck.
Did you roll lower than 12?
I rolled a 12.
Okay, then I can't help you. That's as high as I got for today.
Yeah. Well, I rolled a 12. The flat roll was an 8. So.
Oh, then no, take a 12.
Yeah, so
the modifiers at 12. So.
Revid, you see those two paths of time. You see the path of time when he got it, definitely got it wrong, and you just kind of let's just readjust things slightly over to the path of time where he does a bit better.
Just a little better.
So that is a 12 on the dice, with a plus there, I think, right?
Yeah, +4. Yeah.
+4. So that gives a grand total of 16 there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I blame you, Lance. Sorry, just had to get that out there.
So you trust in the stars as you adjust this thing to set it right, thinking the symbols and the stones. There's, outside in the night sky, the constellations wheel overhead as time speeds and shifts, and you can see through these little windows around the temple bright bursts of daylight as days that should have been pass by, the days that haven't happened yet in Barndorf. And the click of this device, and then it settles into place. And Adair, to the best of your knowledge, you have set things right. And as long as no one touches this and fiddles with this again, time should proceed I can't say that word. In a straight line.
Linearly?
It's a tough
in
one.
a straight line.
Yes.
From this point on. But this is still new to you, and there's a very, sense that something's changed about the world, or maybe about you. And you reckon it might take a little practice to get used to this. But this is the start.
I think it's fixed. Thank you, Revin. Now we need to cut off that man's hands so he can't adjust it again.
I am all for this course of action.
Oh wait, somebody mentioned a dome over it. Maybe that would work too.
I had mentioned a glass box.
Yes.
Might need to be something stronger than glass, though.
No, it could be tempered with magic.
We have a mine, we have craftsmen, I'm sure we can work something out, but please don't tell them that this was me.
I think that can be arranged.
Just, I don't know, say it's a random astrological event or something.
I don't know if we put the dome in a sign that said "Do not touch," and then he had his hands cut off. That might be an additional warning.
It might. You're right.
Maybe not both his hands. He still has to keep the temple.
I use my hands, okay? Please can I keep them? They're really useful for eating and
Are you going to do this again?
Do I look insane?
How does control and keeping of this temple pass on to the next person?
When I take on an apprentice and train them up.
What is the first thing that you're going to tell them from now on?
Don't touch the thing.
Oh, that's right.
You realize that I am a powerful druid, don't you, Lawrence?
I do now you've told me.
I'm going to put my hand out, and using Druidcraft, I am going to conjure a globe to tell what the weather is. And I am going to go place your hand above this.
He places it above.
You are now bound to the circle at the top of the hill, and if you ever touch that device again, you will lose your hands. Is that clear?
Make me a deception check, and I'm going to give you an advantage on there because that is inspired. Evil, but inspired.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm gonna try to shoot out a sending to my head professor. This is a test. We have successfully dealt with problem in Bamford. Reply, please.
Okay, I'll get back to that in 1 sec. What did you get, Adair?
A 15.
Okay. And Lawrence snatches his hand back, sort of staring at it in kind of horror. Like, please, it was an accident.
By the way, what's the weather going to be like here for the next 24 hours?
Tomorrow will be starting off clear with a chance of showers later. Winds light to moderate, northwest, veering northerly throughout the day.
So that you understand, it's going to be okay today, but tonight it will rain. And there will be a mild wind blow through.
I see, yeah. And Revin, a reply comes through to you. How many words have I got? 25?
25.
Revin, we had given up hope. This is excellent news. Return at once. I have lost count of how many hands I've used.
You've got 6 minutes left.
I'm sure the DM will allow it.
Praised.
I will
Yay.
I will clap Adair on the shoulder and just be like, you have done it, my friend. I've gotten word back from the academy, and I'm to return at once. Is there anything that I can do for all of you before I have to go? As a practitioner of the arcane arts, I have some things at my disposal. If anything needs to be identified or uncursed.
I don't remember if we have anything like that.
I think you're all good for cursed items at the moment. You kind of think of...
Otherwise.
As far as you're aware, you don't have any cursed items unless you count hats that summon rats and
That's not
ones
a curse, that's a blessing.
like that's a blessing. But yeah, you find yourself standing for what you know is like. I think this is the second elven wizard you've met. He's definitely gone better than the first one. He's not even turned into a dragon.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask.
But yeah, is there anything?
Actually, yes. I am going to pull out my book, and I am going to look at the signatures I have on my page, and I am going to erase Orica. I'm going to erase Orica.
Take the cook off the books.
Oh, wait.
If you do the cooking by the books.
Okay, so I'm actually going to say this out loud then. Do I remove Orica or Davina? Or should I remove Crisara or Una?
I'm still
I'm
in
going to
there.
look at... So I'm only allowed to have 4 people in there.
Oh, I thought it was 5. Okay, so if I'm not in there, that's good. But at one point I was. That's why I wasn't sure. So
You've clearly been deleted from the context.
I've been removed from her friends list.
Dang.
I'm sorry.
Unfriended.
It was
Unfriended.
maxed out.
The most mature way to settle your arguments. Unfriending someone.
Who should I remove? And I look at Uno and Torvald and Adair.
Well, we'll
I don't
probably
care.
never see the cook again, so probably not worth having in there.
All right.
That's true.
I will remove the cook. If you would like
Tear flows
to...
down Adair's eye.
She's got a good job now, I think. I mean, she had a good job before, but if you don't mind, Revin, we can't think of anything at the moment, but if you sign your name here, we will be able to reach you at a later date, if that's okay with you.
Sure. Consider this a favor owed then, and I appreciate the hero's help in all of this. And I'll sign my name, and then I'll take out my wand and draw a quick circle and some runes in the ground.
Before you finish it, Adair's going to put his hand on your shoulder and go, I didn't do that by myself. You're a hero.
I'll definitely leave that out of my report. And I finish the teleportation circle and disappear in a flash.
That's a cool trick.
And he's gone.
And I close up my book and put it away.
And he's only signed his name in a book of dubious origin, so it's you know. Advice for the future, Revin, be very careful about signing your names in books that warlocks offer you.
He didn't know he was a warlock.
No, he doesn't.
It's true.
But yes, as Revin departs outside, you can hear the birds in the trees are singing. The sun is shining brightly, although you think it's going to rain later. And you're safe here in the town of Barmdorf. You can hear shouts of excitement from outside, and someone going, "What?" And then someone else goes, "What happened?" Like, people running back and forth. But as time ticks by, nothing rewinds, nothing undoes. What would you like to do next?
I have a question.
Yes.
Does that count as a long rest?
No.
Aww.
No. But good one. Nice try.
Have we rested since we escaped with the boat?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe we should stay here for the night, now that everyone loves us for saving their town and such.
But do they know that we did that? And I look over at Lawrence.
I mean, you can say you fix it, just leave me out of it, and why it was fixed out of it. Just, you can... I don't know, a wizard did it.
Well, a druid did it.
Yes, a druid did it. Sorry, it's a common saying in the Empire.
Well,
Always blaming the Druze.
let's get that box made for this thing so that it's not touched again.
But so yeah, you're taking the time to get some kind of glass case crafted. The town, essentially, over the sort of the rest of this day, the town, people are either celebrating or catching up on a lot of much needed sleep. The woman over at the inn is busy making up anything but soup. And there's still some tensions in the air. There's a lot of arguments that broken out over the course of that long night. But there is also an air of relief. Yeah, you can spend the rest of the day however you wish. You can spend the night however you wish. Aldous, you said you're trying to sort of get this case made. Has anyone else got any business or non-business, business or pleasure they would like to engage in town?
Or I'll check to see if there's any shops or anything like that, I guess.
Yeah, shopping would be nice.
Yeah, so there are the sort of local goods stores and things selling ordinary items. There's also the miners' exchange, where, you know, if you want to buy any precious gems or metals that they might have gotten out of the ground, that you can buy them there. And the jeweller's sort of goldsmith in town will be able to buy any excess gemstones you have if you want to offload any. I can't remember if you've got any, but if you do, if you like,
of gemstones. You haven't even told me how many gemstones I have. But I was just collecting them for my spell components, so it's very specific to.
Yeah, specific ones that you do want. If you have got gemstones you want to sell or buy, if you'd like, we can do the minutiae of trading and prices over Discord later. If anyone has that sort of thing. But in terms of shopping, are you looking for any sort of particular things, or just interesting item. Someone's happy to sell you like a miniature, like a little snow globe with the stone circle in. It's like with the word Barndorf engraved underneath. It's like a tourist's take home memento.
Well, I think
We'll get that for Cressara. She's been on the boat for how many days now?
She comes into town like, guy, just stuck on that boat. And where's the green cloaked elf gone? Did you let him leave?
We didn't let him. He kind of just left.
Aldous got his digits though, so it's okay. He's like, can I have your number?
Health
Can I have
potions would be
it?
nice.
Health
I was thinking
potions.
some health potions, maybe.
Yeah, I was
Actually,
thinking
yeah,
we might
health
need some of those.
potions.
Yeah, those you can definitely be able to buy some of those in town. It is a little larger than the part that's pictured on this map. I only drew the middle bit. So yeah, you're buying some health potions. Aldous is getting some crafting done.
Well, I'm commissioning the crafting.
Commissioning some crafting, yes. It will cost you, well, I'd say for a nice solid glass case, they'll offer to make you one for... glassmithing is quite expensive. Let's say 5 gold pieces, unless you want to try and bargain them.
5 gold?
5 gold.
That's half
Much
a
gold
platinum.
I have an
For
extra
Adair.
platinum, by the way, if you just want to give them that. 'Cause, I had one I gave away, and then I got another one.
If you want it
place.
sort of more like magically imbued or stronger, you're gonna have to pay more. But that's like the base price. But they think you want like
Oh no, definitely magically imbued, please. To be shatterproof?
shatterproof. Do you want it smear-proof as well to help with cleaning?
Yes.
Okay.
And it needs to be about this big. She'll give the dimensions.
Oh, that's bigger than I thought. Okay. Oh, for that, once you get the dimensions up, then you're talking about, the pressure strains become very different, and I need to make a new mold for this, you see. So, we're probably talking about 5 platinum.
Okay.
No. No.
Where did you come from?
Torvald's
No.
not there with me.
You
Yes.
hear I cast thaumaturgy and you just no.
Like, Torvald's ears just prick up. Someone somewhere is spending platinum.
You too can attend the Adair School of Financial Management, just like Aldous did.
Yeah, no, 5 platinum. That sounds like a wonderful price. Thank you. And she'll pull 5 platinum out of her pouch.
Pleasure doing business. Whilst all this trading is going on, I'm just looking at the price of potions. But Adair, what do you like to get up to?
Adair is going to adjourn to that circle on the top of the hill and just spend some time there communing with nature. Literally as a ritual.
Okay. Yeah, so if I recall correctly, it gives you a really deep sense of understanding. Was it 3 miles?
3 miles, you can have knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following.
Oh, is there anything specific you'd like to know about the area around Barndorf?
I am very interested in prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples, specifically the people's side. And also, are there any powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess is there any influence from other planes of existence, considering the crap we just went through?
What we just learned is if you're a new DM, do not let your players play druids. The more you know.
No, it's all right.
Hey, this does
You gotta
take
do the
quite
weather.
a
You
lot
gotta
of
know all
levels
the
in
terrain.
This is a
around,
dead-
You gotta know all this extra stuff. You gotta know every animal and all their stats. And
Yeah, I pull this one on my DM
Summons
quite
and-
often. So that's what...
Just say no to druids.
When he's like, what does it tell you? He's like, yeah, are there any fae in like 3 miles of Half? He's like, you can do that? She's like, and I'm not done.
Yeah, fae.
So yeah, within this feeling out, sort of reaching out your senses and sort of communing with the circle and the stones, you can feel the sense of sort of the minerals down in the earth. You can feel the gemstones down sort of in the mines waiting to be dug out. You can feel like the trees in the orchards and the plants in the fields and the people of Barmdorf busy working away. Humans, elves, dwarves, a scattering of half-elves, even a few halflings. And they're farm animals, obviously, but within 3 miles or so, nothing sleeping out was particularly dangerous. There's an ever-present tingling from fae in us that eventually you sort of pinpoint as Aldous. Influence of the fae pine here is very much centered on I'm going to say Elvis then, but that's you lot earlier talking. There's also, I'd say, almost a hint of the astral here. Just a flicker in a moment, and then it was a pulsing point of some other plane influence. Some plane you a long, long way away, far beyond anything sort of described and mentioned, far beyond the fae, far beyond the astral sea. Just the influence of whatever lies outside, sort of centered at the heart of the temple here in Barmdorf. And you get the sense that whatever sat inside that temple came from a long, long way away. But yeah, no powerful celestials, undead, or anything like that in the immediate area. It seems quite peaceful around here now. Yeah. And especially within these stones, like these are... You can always feel them being glad that someone's here. That they have been sort of left alone for a long, long time. It's a lot. No one has communed with them or with this area for hundreds of years. Not truly.
I'm going to pet K9 and take a nap. Good night, K9. Then he'll fade away because the spell's probably run out by now.
Affirmative. Meanwhile, back down in town, the shopkeep is looking over to Uno and going, well, I can do you a potion for 50 and heal you up nice and good.
That's
50
fine.
gold. How does that sound?
Yeah, can I get like 2?
2? That'll cost you 100.
That's fine.
Interested in anything else whilst you're here? We don't just do healing. You want to breathe underwater? We can sort that for you.
No, I'm not very much a fan of water, actually. That's fine.
You want to be taller? Yeah, well, you want to be taller? I've got this one. He holds up a little bottle that says "Drink Me" on it. I've got one to make you smaller as well.
I'll take the smaller one.
Yeah.
Is it permanent?
Oh no,
It's not
no,
permanent, right?
no, it's not permanent. We'll put you back about. I mean, these things don't come cheap, you know. I had to get this imported from the Thoris itself, you know, down from the capital. Proper from the Imperial Potioneers. We've got a very long sell-by date. It should be good for the next 500 years.
Huh.
And then they'll set you back 400 gold pieces.
Yeah, done. I actually have a platinum, so
I mean,
that's about all I got. What can I get with the platinum? So I've already got 2 potions of healing, and then I can get this thing, and then is there anything else you can throw in to cover the rest of what a platinum would pay for?
a platinum's You do know what a platinum's worth, right?
No. Not really. I'm usually only kind of a gold person. I thought it was a lot. I see people.
Well, let's just say that these healing potions are 5 platinum.
Oh, I only have 1, so I can't really.
Is that all you got?
Do that. Yeah, I was hoping I could get like a healing potion, and then that small person one is fun.
For 1
Is
platinum.
good for that? Yeah, I think so, right?
No!
Oh.
No.
Okay, just
Have you got
potions,
any
guess.
other?
I'll get.
I mean,
No. Do you want? She's gonna look through her backpack. I keep a wooden stake on me just in case, and it hasn't really been useful. So if you want it, I can trade.
At that point, Torvald walks in. And we lose our DM.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. Sorry, I was just looking up my prices. Sorry. Oh god, I gave you flashbacks there. I thought it started again.
No.
Yeah, you know, you start worrying about time. You used to be able to trust time, you know. It went in one order, and now it's, you know, all that timey-wimey nonsense, like, screwed up all over the place. Look,
So
for one
platinum, I could do a platinum, a mirror, a stake, and some oil. What do you think?
What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna say, Torvald, you come in as she's trying to buy, essentially, potions worth 5 platinum. The healing potions worth 5 platinum each. She's got 1 platinum and a bunch of other junk on the table, and the shopkeep is just rubbing at his temples, going, right. Look, do I have?
What are you trying to buy?
I wanted to get this special potion, as well as maybe some healing potions. I thought that's useful, right?
Well, healing potions, certainly. Not sure what the other one does, but...
Oh, it does something cool. I was actually going to give it to you.
What does it do?
He'll ask the shopkeep.
Well, we'll find out whenever we...
It makes you small.
It, right? No!
You're gonna give me a potion that makes me small?
I don't want any potions anymore. She'll just walk out.
How much are the health potions?
100 gold or 10 platinum for the pair.
Do you only have 2? Or do you have more?
I've got more. She only asked for 2 and she couldn't even pay for 1, so this has just been a very pointless... Time's precious, you know.
How about you do 4 for 180, and it's a deal. And I actually have the money.
Yeah, make me a persuasion. I mean, see if you can win me over on that one.
It's a pretty reasonable discount for buying.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a low bar.
What am I rolling?
Persuasion.
Persuasion. Okay. Oh, it's a 21 then.
180, and just perhaps explain economics to your friend a bit.
Well...
And money.
She's not the only one I need to do that for, so I've got my work cut out for me.
Start a class in the evenings.
Aye. Well, is there anything else you needed other than the potion you were going to try to poison me with? Uno? Is there anything else you need?
No. Unless we want to make Adair taller, that'd be kind of fun too. They have one for that. Now you can be in on the joke instead of the joke happening to you. So, I don't know.
So just because I walked in, I was your first choice to make miserable. That makes me feel good.
Oh, it wouldn't last forever. I mean, it's just kind of like a fun little thing that...
I can't
friends do to
imagine
each
being
other, right?
short. It'd be such a disadvantage. You'd really do
I
that to me.
know. I just
For an
wanted you to kind of
indeterminate
see
amount
what
of
it's
time.
like.
Look, just take your potions and be on your way.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, you hold on to the potions.
And he'll hand them to Uno.
Thank you. Is that not a thing that you guys do? How do you don't I'm trying to be friendly and I thought that friends like I don't know, shrink each other.
Waste each other's money
For
on
fun.
making each other miserable. Is that what friends
I was
do?
gonna pay for it myself. I had a platinum. I thought that was a lot because you always act like you're getting like punched in the face whenever someone gives it away. I
Well,
figured
it's
it was,
relative.
like,
If
I
you're
don't
getting
know.
good value for it, I don't mind spending money.
I guess I thought it was worth more. Oh well.
I
I
mean,
never had
what's-
this much money before, actually.
Well, a platinum is 10 gold. So it's not that
Oh.
much, but it's not nothing. That's for sure. You could live a long time on 10 gold.
Okay. Well, can I? Okay, so I couldn't buy potions with it, but I could buy like how many things of like roast?
It depends on where you get the roast.
Just like like a regular roast.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask the innkeeper. I don't know all their prices.
Ugh, I hate having to pay for things.
Agreed, but we got to do what we got to do to get stronger. How
That's
much
good.
was the potion to make me smaller?
400 gold pieces.
400 gold pieces? Are you kidding me? And you were gonna buy it?
So that's 40 platinum?
Well, now
That's the
she
math,
gets it.
That would have been worth it, I think, right?
Absolutely not. 40 platinum pieces to pull a prank.
I think Adair would be down for it. Let me find it. She's gonna run off.
We sort of fade out the two of them as Uno goes off to like hassle Adair during his very important nature
I've
communication.
got this rope, it's free. Just tie his legs together when he's sleeping or something. If you want to pull a prank on someone.
Well, while that's all happening, I'm going to cast my Find Familiar and get Sindri back.
And sort of above the brazier as you cast this spell, are you resummoning her as a cat?
Yes.
She sort of blinks. That was unpleasant.
I'm sorry it took so long. We got pulled into the fell, and then we had to take a regular boat to get places. And then when we finally got back to where I could get us to our boat, you were gone already.
I got kicked by an elf. It hurt. They kick hard. One kick and I was gone.
I'm
It's stuck
sorry.
back at court.
Sorry.
She's not happy, you know.
I know.
What next? Where do we go from here?
Well, we just fixed a thing here where time was going back and then forward a little bit and then back and then it was very weird. Very weird. Be glad you weren't here for that. But
I am.
now we've got to talk with everyone first, but I think we need to go into a couple of different places before we can go get the final shards.
Right, but we need to make a plan. For us, she's getting impatient.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know what to do. I'm only 17. I don't know what to actually do.
I don't know. I'm a cat, mostly. We should. And she sort of, seeing who your trouble, she kind of climbs up onto your lap.
And I will just cuddle Sindri for a while.
And yes, up on your hilltop, Adair, your peace and quiet is ruined by Uno. I believe, Uno, you said you're looking for Adair, or was that just a passing...
Yes. I'd look for Adair, but if I saw Adair was in the middle of something important, then I would be like, that was dumb, never mind.
He is laying in the middle of the circle, flat on his back, arms out, snoring.
I'm incredibly out of my depth with these people. She's gonna head back to the boat. She's like, oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? For some reason, everything else that has preceded this, totally fine, totally normal, flying boats, etc. But having to be explained to the concept of money, seeing people snoring and walking around, she's like, I don't know what's happening. This isn't my scene. She's gonna go back to the boat.
Yeah, and I think one by one, when you've sort of had a chance to rest, eat, shop, and finish any business, you end up probably reconvening back at the boat where Krasara appears to be sulking at being left out of what was clearly a very interesting adventure. She's just sat at the back of the boat. Yeah, you don't need me anymore, guys? Then.
Andy was wearing green, of all things.
Well, I mean, we can stay another day.
I think you're muted,
go...
Aldous.
Am I muted now?
No, you're
You're
not.
muted.
No, we can hear her.
We can hear her fine.
Oh,
Oh,
no. What?
Tis, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Tis?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
This isn't just me, right?
Yes, it is
It's
just you.
you.
It's
Oh,
just...
you.
it's me.
Did your headphones die?
You're not muted.
No, I'm not muted. Oh, no. Oh.
And that's
That was
why I think Adair
embarrassing.
would. And that's why I think Adair would cast that.
Oh dear God! I'm.
That's how Norvald lost his left pinky.
Oh God! Let's just move on from that embarrassment.
Oh. What was I saying?
I don't know. Yeah, you're back at the boat.
Krasara is sulking. I'm going to point out to Krasara that the person who runs the admin hall has a green house coat. And she's an elf.
We'll leave Krasara's reaction up to. We'll canvas trail afterwards. So. But yeah, you're back together, and well, apart from an unusually quiet Krasara, I'm gonna ask you, what is your plan from now? What are you doing? You've got your boat back. You appear to be currently unpursued, as far as you can tell.
Oh, are we fully rested? I mean, would you say that we've had a really
yes, you've had time
rest?
to. Yes, you've. Yeah, this might even be a couple of days later when you've had a chance to long rest and chillax. But yeah, you're rested, relaxed. What next?
We need to find the other pieces.
Where do we think they are?
While you all were in the ruins, did anybody take a copy down of the writing on the wall?
I did.
Did she leave it with us?
Yes, she would have.
Okay.
Are you asking me to call this up right now? Because I don't know if I have this to hand.
You have it in Roll20.
I do.
It was
I do.
big. Was one of the things is it was a picture, and then
Yes.
the definition of all the different places was basically like, I know there was one in the stars, and that
There you
was
go.
it.
You should be able to see it now. Thank you. Thank you past me for actually putting it on Roll20.
There you go.
So which ones do we have? We have this one here. And she points at the one next to the mountains.
Where is it
we
on
have under the journal.
It's a handout, right?
Yeah, it's a handout
Yeah.
in the journal. So she points at the one with the mountains. That's the one from the tomb. Then she moves over to the one by the giants, which is on the completely other side. We have 2 from there. Where did we get?
Was it the one from the Gith? Is that the one on that ship there?
No, we didn't get. No, you guys. That was one of the pieces that the halflings had from the airboat. We don't know where they got that one from, except for maybe from the Gith.
Maybe the airboat.
Oh, okay.
So
So we have this one that's up in the stars. We have this one that's in the mountains. We had the 2 that were here. We need to get the one that's in the fire, the volcano. We need to get the one that's down by the vampires. What's this one? The spider.
That's the one in the underworld.
Yes, we need to get that one. The one.
Revin said it was nice this time of year, right?
Yeah, that's why I took his name down, is because he might actually be able to help us down there.
We should. I think we should go there, considering the contact.
Right. This one with the blue, is this waves or is this blue fire?
Looks like it's in the water, but not sure.
Yeah.
That one's hard to say which one that is. But let's see. We have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need this one.
What is the shrimp?
This.
Do we know what the shrimp is?
It's not
She's gonna point to the one in the sky.
Oh, it's not a shrimp. It's like a. It looks more like a.
It's Nautilus.
Yeah.
That might be the fangs. Maybe they have one of them.
Oh, I thought it.
They might have.
I thought it
one
was a
of them.
giant shrimp in the sky, which was very concerning for me for a moment.
I want to say, and she points at the blue, looks like water waves or blue fire or whatever. I think this is the one in the fell with the dragon. But this one in the volcano?
The one with the dragons, the one near the spiders.
And as you talk about the volcano, Krasara sort of leans over and goes, Denvala.
Denvala. We can probably go there first, because the people that we took our boat back from know that we eventually will be going towards there. And if we go there and she's pointing at the spider, and if we go to that one first, then they might either trap us there or they might take us from it or something. I don't feel like going there first is the answer. This one, and she points at the one in the middle of all the trees, is the one that we know of.
Where is it?
It's around someone's neck. I'll not say her name.
Oh.
And she
Well, why don't we just
pointedly
get
looks
that
at
one?
Adair. We can't.
You know, the volcanoes.
Let's go to the
at least-
volcanoes. Chrysara mentioned it, right?
The
Chrysara.
volcanoes, at least in
Sorry.
our world. Plane, time, whatever you call it.
Okay.
Why not?
Not really sure anymore.
And we've taught them to be afraid of fire, so
Okay. I guess we're going to Denvala.
So you sort of you've got fairly good maps and between maps you've had and knowledge you've got. I mean, as Isfjellians, most of you are aware. At least, actually, 2 of you, 3 counting Chrysara, are very much aware that Denvala is one of the fire islands off in the east. And I think we're on the right map. I can ping it. It is actually somewhere I've remembered to label. So from where you are currently, it's almost due east if you're not planning any detours. I don't know if you are planning to go straight there or if you've got anywhere else you'd like to stop by on your way eastwards.
Does anybody else have an idea? Does any at all? Do we want to make any stops before we go? We can stop at Isfjell's a little bit out of the way, but we know it's safe there.
We think it's safe there. We really don't know. We hope it's safe there. But I wouldn't mind visiting Drobro before we head down there, if we have the time.
And seeing if things are going well. How long have we been gone? Completely lost track of how long we've been gone.
That is a very good question.
We don't know because we've been in a loop. We don't know how long, too.
Well, regardless, let's head that way and we'll figure out if we're going to stop.
Okay. Yeah, we do have quite a bit of time because we're looking and
You're in Barmdorf.
We're still on the original map in
Oh, sorry.
Roll20, just FYI.
Thank you. I've been pinging this map really helpfully.
I thought you might be, you know.
Yes, so you are in Barmdorf here.
which is on one side of Tillefin. No. There it is.
And
Okay.
Denvala is over there. And Isfjell is up there.
Well, it looks like Isfjell is out of the way, so let's head straight there. We don't want to waste any time.
I'm going to meta for just a moment because I know somebody in this group has been tracking the list that we're supposed to be doing stuff on. Is there any place along the way that is mentioned on that infernal
I don't
list?
think any of those places are explicitly mentioned that I can recall.
Okay.
But
Never
really,
mind
no.
then.
most
What about maybe not directly on the way, but lower?
I would have to check the list myself.
A lot of this stuff is the opposite direction.
That's what I thought.
The
Okay.
problem was that we discovered in the Q&A last week that we missed a lot of places, and we're even in a lot of the places where we could have done the test and didn't. So we'll have to backtrack and go back to a lot of those places in the future.
There's an angry druid out there wanting to get a diamond back.
Druids don't get it.
I think there is one in relation
mean-
to Dimbala, though.
But
Do have a lot of diamonds and stuff now.
yeah, at the speed of your boat, you're about probably about 3-4 days from Ulfborg, the capital of Isfjell, and as the crow flies, probably about 9 or 10 days out from Denvala.
We fly
As the
like
boat flies?
crows.
As the boat flies, assuming no stops and like setting down at the sea at night. So I'll leave the decision in your hands as you set off flying from Baumdorf. Having resolved a minor yet significant local problem. Or should we say a significant yet local problem?
I will have made sure that the glass case was magically sealed as well.
I oversee Lawrence, like...
Yeah.
And as you go in to check on him as you're going to leave, he said, like, stenciling the words, "Do not touch," very carefully onto the front of the glass case. And he just looks at her and goes, "Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really, if you're ever going through this way again, just anything you need."
All right.
But yeah,
you might. She'll also mention very quickly. You might want to actually elaborate on what the incident is this time.
Yeah. I'll add it to the records. Explain exactly why "do not touch" is important. But thank you.
Adair's going to stop by the inn on the way out of town, away from everybody else, and hand her a platinum, and then just walk off.
She takes it away, says, "Thank you," and offers you a couple of small cakes to take as you go.
Okay.
And yeah, as our heroes take flight once more, heading onwards on their world tour of this realm, we shift our focus slightly over to a finely furnished room in an elven building many miles away. And Revin, it's been a couple of days since you returned to the safety of the academy, and you've been asked to give a report on what has turned out to be several months of absence. You've handed in your report, and it's probably the day after that a message comes for you, which says, "There is an official who has been sent from the capital. She asks to speak with you now."
I will dress up as best as possible, which is just like a nicer shirt than I normally have, and I'll go and meet with them.
And as you enter into this room, you see, seated across the other side of this table with a lovely tea set laid out on it, is an elven woman with sort of mid-brown skin and this dark hair pulled back into a knot of elaborate braids. She's very finely dressed in this long red silk coat, and she smiles at you and goes, "Please, Revin, isn't it?"
I bow low.
"Thank you. Please take a seat. My name is Venli Silveranth, and I have a few questions to ask you about some people you may have encountered in Baumdorf."
I'm at your service, my lady.
You mentioned a little about a flying ship in your report.
Yes, of course. I believe it was captained by a very friendly dwarf named Torvald.
Yes, Torvald, and the others were with him too, right? She's
I believe so.
Sort of.
He has a crew of about 5.
Yes,
for the ship?
a girl named Eldis, a druid who goes by the name of Adair. Is that right?
Yes. Very useful.
A young woman named Ira.
I do not recall an Ira.
Interesting. And a rather onery individual known as Chrysara.
Does not ring a bell either.
Interesting. Now, I'll obviously read through your full report, but don't suppose they mentioned anything about a wand whilst you were there with them, did they?
No, they made no mention of the wand to me.
No.
I did see the druid craft one.
No. And what kind of terms did you leave them on?
I believe we were quite amicable. I think I have made arrangements with some of the dwarves here near the academy so I could learn more, because I think I might have offended Torvald. But I think amicable is the best word.
Good, very good. We can work with that. You see, those people you met, they are a grave threat, not just to the safety of the Empire, but to the safety of the very world we live in.
They lied to me then.
Oh, they lied to you, yes. They lied to everyone they meet. They are leading us all on a path of destruction, and we must do everything in our power to stop them. They have a powerful weapon in their hands, and if they complete it, it spells doom for us all. I am trying my utmost to prevent them from completing this, but it's been hard, and all the help I can get is appreciated. Will you look, if they get in touch with you, I need you to let me know.
Of course.
I need you to let me know what they ask and I need you to cooperate with them.
At your behest, my lady.
Good. No, I'd lost them for a few months there, but I'm glad to hear they've resurfaced. Everything always seems to go wrong whenever they're near. It's like they're a disrupting influence on the whole fabric of the world. Even Lena couldn't work out where they were, and trust me, she can find answers on most things. Look, thank you. You're going to be a great help with this, and if there's anything you need, I have a good deal of sway if you need funding for your research or help with anything family-wise. One could say almost I have the ear of the Emperor himself. There is very little that I cannot influence here.
It is very generous of you, my lady, but I have no family anymore. It's just me.
It can be a lonely life, but
I will make amends. I will make notes if I should need anything.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, and I needn't say this. I'm sure I don't need to say this to you, but please remember, should you ever be tempted by money or threats or pleas to act against me in any way, my friends do well. My enemies do not.
This is the way.
That is the way. Thank you. It was good talk. Now I had best be getting on.
I'll take my leave.
Lena's making supper.
And I'll get up and walk out.
And with that, we bring tonight's session to a close. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you very much to RavnosArchon here for joining us and bringing what is been a truly excellent character and a truly excellent role playing. And it has been a pleasure.
It's mine, all mine.
And of course, to the rest of you who are all as wonderful as ever. And it honestly is a lot of fun playing with you. Like, I wouldn't be doing Isfjell if I didn't really enjoy playing with this lovely bunch of players. And they are lovely people. And yes, we'll be back next week. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you soon. And damn you, Torvald. Or damn you, Bova now.
We're being cats, aren't we?
And on that note,
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Yes. Bye.